All right. I'm live out here just checking to make sure that everything is operating optimally, because yesterday I had all sorts of issues, and so right. There might be some feedback here. Nope. But everything looks fine from my pad. Alrighty. I don't even know if I'm going to share this one. Yeah, Qasim. What's up, man? Assalamu alaikum, bro. You know, I was going to talk about like everything that's going on in the world right now, but I actually got a topic. Oh, and I actually have to find it now. That I wanted to talk about, and then maybe I'll go into this other stuff right, a little bit later. I was supposed to have Tristan Tate on this Sunday, but he's out doing millionaire stuff, so he couldn't make it. I'm not gonna put his business in the street. It's nothing spectacular. I mean, they do the stuff, and he didn't tell me anything like deep about it either. But his reasons for not being here, those are his reasons. I'm not gonna get into it, but he's doing millionaire stuff. So yeah. Hold on, let me find this picture, and I want to talk about this stuff. But I guess while I'm looking for this picture, because my computer's running really slow, and I don't know what's going on with this thing. I don't know why my computer is being so like just goofy lately, man. I'm just gonna throw the whole thing away. Get me a MacBook or something. And here we go. And what's going on in the world right now, people? I thought this whole, we're looking at this whole coronavirus thing. I mean, I actually had a scare. And I'm not, maybe I got sucked into something. I don't know. Maybe I got sucked into like the whole coronavirus scare thing. But what's the story with toilet paper? I mean, when we look at what's going on, of all the things, let me just broadcast here that I'm live. Oops. Of all the things that you can make a run on at the store, why toilet paper? I mean, for a minute there, I wasn't trying to be racist or nothing, but I was like, I thought this was an ethnic thing. I was like, is this a white people thing? I don't understand. You got like rice, you got noodles, you got like all sorts of things that you can get at the store. And you see the store still got stuff on the shelf, canned foods and canned goods, things that you really should have in your house in the event of an emergency. And Nikas is making the run for toilet paper. I mean, I got a bidet in my toilet. I literally wash my butt. I got like a little, we call it a butt gun. You take and you spray your butt, and everything just like high pressure water. You ever been to one of them car washes and it's like you got the pressure washer? We got like one of those for your butt in my house. Toilet paper is not a priority. I'll be worried if the water turns off, but toilet paper? I don't know about that. Alex says, if it weren't for Twitter and TV, I wouldn't know coronavirus existed. Where I live, everything's still normal. Hopefully we remain so. Man, I hope for you, bro. I hope so. I was in the hospital today, man. My little man got sick again. His fever went away. His fever broke. And then it came back. And, it's just crazy in the hospitals, man. It's madness right now. So, yeah, I hope it stays normal for you. Yeah, exactly right there. Alex says it again. He says, but yeah, if you were going to prep and stock up on stuff, why not stock up on food and ammo? I mean, I stocked up on food, just in case. We had like a slight run. All the toilet papers, like the toilet paper section in my store, I put up the video on Twitter. The toilet paper section is kind of empty. I'm like, what's with the toilet paper? It's the weirdest thing, man. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Hey, Abdul Halim. I don't understand the toilet paper, but you know, Rushdi, as much as contention as I have with him, I actually follow him, even though you know I'm not a big fan. He did say, he said people aren't afraid of death; they're afraid of discomfort. But toilet paper isn't even a comfort matter for me. It's like, look, like I said, I got like a butt gun, and so and I'm a guy. You know, I'm not extra hairy, but I have body hair. Toilet paper, let's just be descriptive, man. It, you know, that gets caught in that hair, man. I'm not a fan of it. You know, I mean, I generally use the toilet paper to dry off. It's not really, you know, you use it to make sure that a good job was done and to dry off. And that's the use of toilet paper, you know. But if you got time, you can sit there with my pressure washer and really go to town. You know what I mean? So toilet paper, guys. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. ZB, you know what, man? I thought I was 100%, but when I do any sort of like activity, I like heat up really, really fast, and I start sweating like crazy. And then weird, it's strange. I don't know if it's psychological or not. I start coughing. So I'm probably not 100%. The family is definitely not 100%. My son got hit really hard. So you know, I just got back from the hospital with him just a little while ago. But whatever I had, man, spread around the house like wildfire. Everybody caught it. You know, even our visitors. We got family in from out of country. They went to a hotel and it was like, "Yo, we're out," and then they ended up catching it anyway. So it's just rough. Whatever it is, that's going around. And no, we didn't buy a bunch of toilet paper. Yeah, I think we're running out. Maybe they had a sale. I don't know. You know, I should maybe get in the toilet paper and virus business, and then like make an artificial virus and then like sell toilet paper. I'd be rich. You know. Alex says if you're only using toilet paper and that's it, that shouldn't be considered clean. Alex, man, I don't know how things are out there where you are. I know you're not out like here in West. But out here, Negus is literally only using toilet paper or wet wipes. Nasty mofos. I mean, thank you, ZB. So anyway, everybody's talking about buying stock in pharmaceutical companies and this one and that one. Why hasn't anybody bought stock in toilet paper companies? Negus, can you imagine? Someone check. Where do you check toilet paper stock right now? Since coronavirus started and right now, where's the stock gone? Oh, snap. Nah, toilet paper ain't made in China, man. Come on, dude. I hope not. You're like wiping coronavirus on yourself. Hey, someone check out the freaking toilet paper stock in the past 2 weeks. I bet you toilet paper stocks has like shot up. Everybody's looking for a pharmaceutical company to invest in right now. I want to get in on toilet paper. Because niggas is out there running around like toilet paper is not only going out of style, but like it's going out of, like, there's just not going to be any more toilet paper. Like we're running out of trees or something. So I'm just saying, I don't know. Hold on, let me clear this. Man, what my? Ah, there we go, right there. Got a comment from Amir. I can't see it on my admin panel for some reason. And he says, clean your butt with water. If water is not available, with sand or mud, or if there's no other option. Ah, there it is. It just popped up on my admin panel. Look, I want to tell y'all something. Amir is right. Toilet paper is not enough, okay? You're doing it wrong if you're only using toilet paper, you nasty mofos, okay? I'm just gonna say it right there. So we've covered toilet paper. Buy toilet paper stock. This is the tip of the day. You got it right here from Abuamerican. I guarantee you're gonna be rich. Let me ask you what's going on with this trans stuff, though. Everybody saw this. It's a bit played out right now. It's a bit, you know, it's bygones and bygones. It's done happened. That trans dancer in front of that kid dancing around doing their crazy thing. Everybody was up in arms. Where are we going as a society, man? People talking about you can't save the West, but what are our options? You can't save the West, but then we got to, I mean, by by default, that means we have to accept this stuff. Is really these are the only options we have right now? I think Islam's just, we're gonna have to like take a step up, guys, man. As Muslims in general, the Muslims who are watching this, we're gonna have to step up and just like convert the world. This is, I don't think we have an option anywhere. I just, they're leaving us no choice. You know, they need a hero. Superman's not real. Muslims are the closest thing to Superman that there is in real life. That it's a fact. You just got to accept it. Anybody who can tell me otherwise, tell me I'm wrong. I'm waiting, because the closest thing to Superman you're going to find in the world right now, it's us Muslims. We can save the world. We can save you from thottery. We can save you from running out of toilet paper, you know, since you have to use water or, you know, a solid object to clean yourself. You can actually use stones. This is actually like, it's even in a hadith that you can use stones. Like, you know, Amir was talking about, you know, we can end thottery. We can end, financial loss by way of no interest loans. I mean, dude, we got it all, man. And there's definitely not going to be any trans people dancing around in front of little kids. There's not going to be any trans people dancing around, period. Dancing in front of little kids? We're not going to have it. We're not going to have it. Let me tell you something. We're crazy. Muslims, we're slightly crazy, okay? It's just, this is simple fact. You know, there's like this little Terminator line, not literal Terminator, but you know, the Terminator, like, you know, between day and night, you know, the line. Yeah, and we got that. And it's like the moment that line is hit, man, it's just something flips. And then we're just like, la, 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 la. You know, and then we just lose our minds, man, you know. And so I think you guys need a little bit of that little line right there. And it seems like the West has lost it. And the Muslims need to bring that back, you know, just bring back the balance. You know, you can do your crazy, you can just do it in private. You can't be out in public just doing stuff like that. Where is that socially acceptable anywhere in the world except in the West? You take that situation, put it anywhere else in the world, and show me where people won't be whipping out sticks, pitchforks, torches, stones, or whatever else and losing their minds. Show me. I'll wait. You can even go to places in the West and you can't do that. I guarantee you do that in front of a bunch of Inuits and they're going to lose their mind. They're going to, you know, like how they club them seals and stuff, you know. If you dancing around as a grown-ass black man, you know, in some little boy shorts, looking all ugly like that, you don't think it'll club you? They're clubbing them little cute seals. Oh, it's crazy. Alex says, I don't know how the West can be fixed, if at all. And that stuff comes to my country, I'm out. Alex, your country, they ain't going to tolerate that. I seen your country. You guys aren't going to tolerate that. I guarantee you guys aren't going to tolerate that. You guys are just going to freak out and they're going to do their thing over there because y'all guys got some special stuff going there. So, see me? Okay, yeah, there I go. I have my admin panel just disappeared. My computer's acting all crazy. I'm telling you, I need a MacBook. So anyway, you know, we're looking at like utter insanity in the West right now. I mean, there's been a spook and a scare with coronavirus. We understand that. But just all in all, something's going to snap soon, man. I don't know. I'm not trying to be, what do you call this? Like an alarmist. You know, I mean, I thought I had coronavirus. I did. I went to the hospital. You know, they were like, "Hey, come in. We think you're kind of messed up. You might want to get it checked out." So I was like, "All right, oh snap, let me go in here." I shared it with the world. Okay, it's wrong, but I'm not wrong about toilet paper. You buy stock of toilet paper, you're gonna get rich. And I'm not wrong about like dudes dancing around in boy shorts in front of little kids. Just the world is crazy. I don't know what's going on. Somebody needs to help me. He said in. What the heck, bro? How do you say that? Pack through what? Bro, can I get a vowel or two inside of there? Pack where this place here, let me just put it up on the screen. Brother said in this place we shoot people. I'm not advocating violence, but I'm just saying if something like that happened, I'd understand. I'm not going to get on social media and advocate violence against people of any sort. It's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying I'd understand. You know, if something happened and someone got shot, someone got clubbed like a baby seal, I'd be like, I mean, I get it. I mean, I understand. He was dancing around in boy shorts as a guy dressed, wait, as a woman, but as, you see, this is what I mean. How do you even figure this out? Okay, it was a guy dressed as a woman doing some dance in front of a little kid. And I can understand how someone could get violent. I can understand it. I'm not advocating it, I'm just saying. Just for the monitors. Rolex Maximus. I work at a grocery store and we were running out of toilet paper fast. We've been out of stock of hand sanitizer for the past 2 weeks. Wow, hand sanitizer. You know, I was like thinking about trying to like get in the hand sanitizing, business, because I'm a hand sanitizing psychopath. You know, I sanitize my hands regularly just because. Let me just do it right now for you, because I just sanitize my hands. This is some Turkish one. It smells really nice. It's lemon. It's like a business. Toilet paper and hand sanitizer. I'm telling you. Then just go around and start rumors of viruses, and you're gonna be rich. But toilet paper, why has nobody ever thought to like advise me? I've been advised to buy stock in cars, in Tesla, in this one, in that one, in Apple. I've been advised to buy stock in all these companies, but nobody ever said buy stock in Charmin. Why? I guarantee you Charmin has more sales than Tesla. I guarantee you Charmin has more sales than Apple. Negus is out there. They're on the low, like being super sneaky. They're keeping all the good stock for themselves. People are going insane for this Corona thing. Yeah, you're right, man. People are scared, man. When something's unknown, that's what happens. People lose their mind and they go crazy. Film TV highlights. Abuamerican, what do you recommend to do in a situation where there's a girl who is older than you, but you find her attractive? I'm 24, she's 30, never married. Bro, I don't mess with older women. I tried it once, I just don't do it, man. They always end up at some point trying to act like your mother, and then I gotta tell her that. I'm like, look, you're acting like my mother, and that's really just gross and like it's turn off. I was messing with this lady. She was an attractive lady. She's like she was Asian. She's from London. I believe she was Pakistani, and she was older than me. Like 3 or 4 years older than me. I mean, my ex-wife is older than me, but it just just like by a year and a half. But anyway. It just never works out. Every time I talk to a woman who's older than me, it never works out. They just got this way where they kind of like, they look down on you. And I don't know, if you think you can maintain a frame with a woman like that, it shouldn't be impossible. It shouldn't be something difficult or impossible. Go for it. But it's rare. I don't really see too many. That's a pretty big difference, man. That's 6 years, bro. I mean, you should be shooting for someone younger anyway, man. I mean, you have to ask yourself, why isn't she dealing with dudes that are older than her? I mean, on average, just biologically, women prefer men that are older than them. So why would a 30-year-old woman who's attractive not want to get a guy who's older than her? You see what I'm saying? That means something's wrong to where she's like, she can't deal with those guys. She doesn't want to deal with those guys, or she doesn't want to deal with guys who are more secure and solid, who are more established, and they have like the ability to easily say no to her or walk away from her. And maybe she has the idea that younger guys who aren't so well established, they're not going to do that. I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but it's just a bit odd, because just from a biological standpoint, in general, there are specific cases where it can differ, but in general, women like older men. So, it's just a bit odd. I'd see it as a potential red flag. Go for it and see how it works, man. But I would say if you're gonna mess with an older woman, you have to do it from the paradigm of polygyny. Even this Pakistani girl, she was like, oh yeah, I'm not used to polygyny, this, that, deal. And I'm like, dude, you're older than me. I'm 47. You're like 51. I was like, she looked good, but I was like, come on board as an only wife, you nuts. So if you're gonna deal with an older woman, then I would say you deal with her from a position of like, a multiple. She's one of your girls, not the only one. Rolex Maximus. Yeah, I did. Rolex Maximus. He says, I think you were the one who showed us the video of someone showing hospital hand sanitizers being stolen. I got a topic, guys. I'm gonna get into it, but right now I'm just having fun playing around, get back in my swing since, I got stood up. It's okay though. I ain't mad at him. He's doing millionaire stuff. Charmin, Kashmir, Purell, them CEOs are filthy rich now, most likely. I guarantee you them dudes are filthy rich. They can raise their prices by like 20% and then cut production by 10%, and they just freaking kill it. I'm too evil to be. I might open me up a freaking toilet paper company, man. Straight up, dude. I wonder what it takes. Anyway. Rolex Maximus says, I agree. A girl I talked to for a week, she thought she could talk down to me and tried to dictate terms just because she's 4 years older. This has been my experience, that they generally tend to find, or they tend to think that they can control younger men. This is what I've tend to found, that they come to the relationship with a position of dominance. I could be wrong. There's always an exception, but this is the general experience that I've seen. Our Prophet Muhammad married Khadijah and she was older. Yeah, but she wasn't significantly older. The vast majority of the proof points towards the idea that she was 28, not like 40, like they like to try and say. She's a very attractive woman, bro. I don't know. Wait, let me put this up here because sometimes reading this small stuff. She's a very attractive woman, bro. I don't know what to do. No, I guess you mean now. Man, like I said, go forward, man. But here's the thing. You don't think you can find a woman who's like 26 that's very attractive? You don't think you can find a woman who's 20 that's very attractive? You don't think you can find a woman who's 19 or 18 that's very attractive? Bro, listen to me. This is like from a scarcity mindset that you want to drop. I'm not attacking you, but you need to listen. This is a scarcity mindset. You need to drop it. The world is full of attractive women. Dude, go outside, take a rock and throw it. You're going to hit 8. You know why? Because makeup. And the better makeup gets and the better women get at applying makeup. And now you have YouTube and there's entire channels that are nothing but makeup tutorial channels, and they're very popular. You know what there is? There's a bunch of attractive girls who know how to put on makeup. They're attractive because of makeup and because there's tutorial channels teaching them how to put on makeup. Dude, it's not special anymore. There's a saying in this cartoon, when everybody's special, nobody is. None of them are special anymore, bro. They're all regular. Imagine all these attractive women out there should rule out the idea that there are a bunch of attractive women. It's so regular now that it's like, it's not special. You eliminate that entire concept of she's attractive out of your head right now. What else does she have? Because attractive is, as the Arabs would say, adi. This is regular. She got to have something more now, man. Attractive is normal. She got to come with more than just attractive. Adelaide says, these people panic buying toilet paper are just making themselves targets for the dodgy geezers of society once the real panic sets in. Can you imagine being brogled for your toilet paper? No, actually, I can't. They're going to be disappointed to come to my house. They're not going to find any toilet paper. You're going to find this funny sprayer. What is this thing? Rolex Maximus says, exactly. They always pick the opinion that she was 40. Yeah, it's talking about the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu and Khadijah. It wasn't a hadith, but everyone believing that Khadijah was 40 when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married her. And she had all his kids but one. For a 40-year-old to give birth to that many kids, 28 seems more likely. That's a very good point. No one's ever brought up. This is an excellent point, man. That's a good one. Film TV says, Jazakallahu khair, bro. If I marry her, I'll have a second, inshallah. And make sure the second one's younger. Don't go marry like a 30-year-old and marry a 35-year-old. Alex says, sometimes the makeup feels like black magic. Bro, it is. There's actually an old British law that said like a woman who like wears so much makeup or whatever else that she fools somebody, like she could be jailed. It was some old British law. I'll find it and I'll try and post it on Twitter. I'm not going to look for it right now. But even in Islam, there's a hadith that says that, of the types of women that are not to be married are the woman whose face is painted to the point that she looks like a doll. So all that makeup and stuff, man. And when you look at them hijabi girls, the thirst trapping hijabi girls on Twitter, what are they doing? These are face full of makeup, man. Then when it comes off, they're real regular. Let me get this screen up here. Let me close all these other ones. And then I want to share this screen with you, and I want to talk about this because I'm getting tired of seeing goofy stuff like this. So let me get this screen share going on. Let me see how I do this again. Screen share. the entire screen application window. Do we have an application window? Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. Boom. And share. So I think you guys can see this. I hope you guys can see this. Yeah, you guys can see it. And now this has been posted by a big account. I don't want to say his name. And he started talking about this stuff, like if it's fact. And you got people out here like, yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's right. And so it talks about like the different types of relationships. The side-blotched lizard, which obviously already is, I don't know if this is an actual creature or not, but whatever. If it is, then it's highly inappropriate to use as an example for people. But anyway, let's get into this. It says the side-blotched lizard has 3 different types of males, which all use different tactics for mating. So if they're talking about a real creature here, I suppose they are. I didn't look it up. It's a bit odd because I don't know if you can classify humans in the same way, but I guess you could. Let's just carry on. Let's just look at it. The orange-throated male is pumped with testosterone, and his main focus is to have a huge territory and as many females as possible. Though he will protect the females, he doesn't form strong, long-lasting bonds with any of them. He can beat the blue-throated male and take his territory. So you see the orange guy there, to my right, which on your screen will be on your right when you're looking at the screen. And he's got his multiple partners. And fine, let's carry on. The blue-throated male is smaller, has less testosterone in him, and only has territory big enough for one female, with whom he forms a strong bond. Like the orange-throated male, he will protect her and try to fight off attackers until she's safe. Okay, cool. Then you have, lastly, there's the yellow-throated male who has no territory of his own and whose coloring closely resembles the female. He lives on the outskirts of the orange-throated male's territory where he sneaks breeds with the females because the orange-throated male doesn't spend much time with the females. The females only hang around for his territory and have no problem mating with other males. The female who has bonded with a blue-throated male, however, doesn't want to be unfaithful to him and will... What's the word? And will... I'm losing my... And we'll turn down the yellow-throated male. Guys, let me tell you something. There's some truth to this, but it's like BS. And I don't want you guys to fall for this stuff. I guarantee you this was made by like a blue pill, purple pill, believer. Probably a blue pill believer. And he's literally like the blue guy who made this. But it does fit into like some categories. Now, let me tell you something. What's he called? The blue-throated male and the orange-throated male, they both, in humans, will enjoy very loyal women. Dun, dun, dun. Abuamerican said it is true. It's true. The simple fact of the matter is, women will remain loyal to a high-value male, even if she has to share that male with other women. And they'll be quite loyal about it. You can't ask guys who don't know about this type of stuff. Like, guaranteed, like I said, whoever made this, he's classified himself as the blue guy because he's put forward the most positive perspective on the blue guy. Do you think whoever made this is actually the orange guy? I mean, just look at this thing and tell me, do you think whoever made this is the orange guy? Obviously not. Now, this guy in the middle, this is like the hoo-ha sharing PUA guys that I hate so much. And these are real people. They're going to try and sneak, but they'll try and sneak with the blue guy. And, he even says in there, he's not the strongest, whatever else. So obviously, just because of hypergamy, and hypergamy is a real thing, and we don't fear it. But because of hypergamy, she's going to look for an opportunity eventually for a higher value male. Just like we look for thinner, younger, prettier. We like that in men, as men. We as men don't complain about our preferences for thinner, younger women. So we shouldn't complain when women want higher value men. It's how it works, okay? And her value, when she's looking for a higher value mate, means that she has to do that when she's young, when she has to do that when she's thin, and with a low notch count, preferably. But the fact of the matter is, you will find that there are exceptionally loyal women to the men who have multiple women. I live it. There are some women, you know what, they're just not going to be loyal, period. Like, I had this problem with Becky, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Becky and I had problems because Becky we had a distance relationship. She would fly into the country every 2 or 3 months. She'd stay like a week or two, and then she'd go back to London. Now, London, I told you guys already, London's a bad place if you're going to look for a partner. I've never found anybody who's truly, truly happy with their partner in London. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but most of the guys I talk to in London, their partner search is a difficult one because it's a mess. It's a place that's ideal for female hypergamy and not for the male reproductive strategy of, spray and pray. There's a lot of thirsty dudes in the town. There's a lot of women out there, and they're taking advantage of the situation. And this is why I said, you find that most men want to leave London and most women don't. It's just because of what's ideal. So anyway, Becky was mostly loyal, but over time, I could tell, because you got to watch out for the warning signals in your girls, that something was going on. She was always had a problem with like male orbiters, but I gave her a pass because that's the world she grew up in. She wasn't always Muslim, and she had to deal with coming into Islam and dropping bad habits. I have the same thing. I have my bad habits that come from pre-Islamic days, and I still struggle with some of them, even though I've been a Muslim for so long. It's part of who you are after a certain amount of time. And when you grow up in public schools, mixing and whatever else, it just becomes a part of who you are. But I gave her a pass on it. But eventually came to the point where I had to let her go. Now, obviously, me being the red guy, what do? What are you going to do if you're the red guy and you find out your girl's with the lame-o who doesn't have a problem sharing hoo-ha? What are you going to do? You're going to do what you do. You're going to ditch her and you're going to get somebody else. Why? Because you're a high-value male and some woman's out there looking to be in your orbit, to be part of your life as a high-value man. So you don't really have to worry if a woman does want to leave you and you're a man who has multiple women. Why would you worry? It's easy to get another woman. And let me tell you something, guys. It's easy to get another woman. It's not to say women are easy, but at the same time they are, because they're looking for the same thing you are. Women are looking for relationships just like you are. You don't have to worry about a dearth of women running out. You don't have to worry about it, dude. I'm 47 years old. Women throw themselves at me, and they know I got multiple women. Why? Social proof. You've got like a nice woman, and they see that you got multiple women. They see that, it's like, oh, that guy's got multiple women, and they're happy with him. There must be something right about this guy. Something's really good over there, and I want to find out what it is. Why are you worried? Why are you worried? She want to do her thing, let her go. But generally, you don't have to worry about this, because if you're actually doing things right, they're going to be loyal to you. That picture is like BS. Yeah, it works really well in the animal kingdom, but humans are far more nuanced than that. We have intellect. Even women have intellect, even though they're by far and by large driven by emotion. Even that has its place. So I mean, guys, when you see that stuff, man, don't panic and be like, oh my God, it's only guys who are like in a position of the lame-o hoo-ha sharer in the middle, what was he, the yellow something, and the blue guy who can't do any better, who are always like touting this stuff right here. The blue guy, he's mad because he can't be the red guy, and so he's like, well, his women aren't loyal. I've got my loyal girl. And you know what? That guy's probably getting cooked. Let's just be honest, because he's just happy with being regular, and a woman doesn't want a regular guy. No matter what a woman tells you, there's something special about her man that she's attached herself to make her fall in love with that guy. That's the reality. You ask her, what made you fall in love with that guy? She's going to tell you something about that specific guy that's special. And if she can't tell you, you know what? She's open. She's open to change teams. She's like, that means that, you know what? I just haven't found the guy I'm looking for. That's what that means when she doesn't have a clear answer. She has a clear answer. She's like, you know what? He was on his mission, or he was this, or he was that, or I just like the way that he is because of, his kooky dress style. He does something unique. He does something different that makes her feel special with him because he is special. But if she doesn't have a clear answer, she's just biding her time. I think it's called monkey branching, So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying you don't have to listen to that stuff, guys. It's BS, man. It's just a bunch of dudes, or it's made by the guy in the middle, you know, the hoo-ha sharer, you know. But he has no benefit. So, yeah, let me. Ooh, dang, a bunch of comments. Let me go down some of these comments here. Amir says, "Are you flying a 360 camera with a drone?" Yes, I am. I have an attachment. Well, my drone's out of reach. That I put on top of my drone, and then my Insta360 can attach to the top of the drone. This is my Insta360. It's a 360 camera, as you can see, and it works off a fisheye lens. Ooh, there you go. You can see the fisheye lens on both sides, and so it gets a full 360 view. And then when I fly, it's mounted on top of the drone, and I can get 360 video and photos. Yes. Film TV says, Abuamerican, what's your views on those Muslims who are so focused on the dunya, they forget about their akhirah? I see so much fitna on Twitter, especially our brothers and sisters. Man, you know what? You just got to remind them of death. You know what helps? Do the janazah, man. And when I say do the janazah, I mean actually wash the dead bodies. You know, when I worked at Ramstein, I was actually the khatib. I was actually the imam. I gave the Friday sermon. And so the military community over at Launchstool, it's like, you know, it's the main medical hub before you go back to the United States. They used to call us over there to the community and say, hey, we got a Muslim here, and he got jammed up in combat. And so we had to go and actually wash the bodies, man. And nothing will remind you of death and your limited time on this planet like washing your dead and praying over them, especially washing, man, because it's not easy, you know. You're literally touching and washing a dead man, you know, and it's not that far removed from yourself when you see that, you know. So remember death, man. That's the reminder. Alex says, my problem with the side blotch lizard photo thing is why assume the red guy's women aren't loyal? Why would they? Exactly. You know, it's a good point. Why wouldn't they be loyal? That's why I'm saying this is just a hack job by somebody out there who wants to crap on people who are doing something that they personally can't, or they feel they can't, because it's possible to do it. You know, I mean, it's not impossible for anybody to do it. It's just they've put it in their mind that they can't achieve this. You know, multiple partners that are loyal to themselves, or loyal to them, and so, you know, I can't have it. I gotta crap on it. You know, I can't have it, so I gotta hate it. Yeah. You should make your male offspring aware of this. Yeah, indeed, absolutely. You got to raise your kids. Yeah, and you know what, Adil, this is the problem with like evolutionists and atheists. You know, they don't equate. You know, they don't differentiate between animals and humans. Are humans animals of sorts? Yes, we are mammals. You know, of sorts, we do have something that's similar one enough. Well, you know, to animals. Allah says in the Quran, you know, if you want to believe, observe the creation. And you know, our brother Abu Khadija was saying in a khutbah one time, he said, you know, there's a manhaj to the creation. There's a methodology to the creation. You know, Allah gave all the animals 2 eyes. Humans have 2 eyes. Allah gave all the animals blood. We all have blood. You know, we gave them all senses of smell of some sort. You know, we all have senses of smell. So there's a uniformity to the creation. I mean, absolutely, but it's not an absolute, because we also know that according to text, animals, they're not in paradise or not in hellfire. They don't have souls. So there is a difference also. So, it's the atheist, man. Whoops, lost that. Even in the animal kingdom, do lionesses cheat? I don't think so. They're loyal to the king lion. Yeah, absolutely, Alex. You know, lionesses don't cheat. It doesn't benefit them to cheat. And it's the same thing with human women. Human women only cheat when there's a benefit. That means that there's some sort of weakness inside of the man that makes her feel insecure, and where she wants to jump ship and go to another one. It's not just like sport, you know, and I'm just going to go over and screw this guy because it's fun. It doesn't work like that entirely. It can partially, but generally, you know, these are women who you see with these multiple notch counts, and they can't bond with people in the first place. So now we go into what I was talking about, human nuances, because we know that for every sexual partner or encounter that a woman has, there's a 7% increased chance, according to the study and according to the research, that a woman is not going to be loyal or not going to be able to stay in a relationship with her next partner. 5 partners, 35% chance she's not going to be able to bond with her next partner. 10 partners, 70% chance. So obviously, if you try and build a strong bond with that woman, if you're the blue guy or if you're the red one, it's not going to work. So these are the type of nuances you have to look at. You know, there's more play here than just like some lizards or whatever. You know, you're just goofy. Oh man, it's really female hypergamy in London is out of control, dude. It's nuts, but it also plays to your advantage. You know, if you're doing your thing, if you're on your mission, taking care of yourself, you know, making sure you look sharp, you are sharp. It's not everything, but you got your game tight, dude. It can play to your advantages. Every time I go to London, I got like back to back meetup with a woman lined up. It's ridiculous how many women want to meet up with me when I get to London, and I'm known in London, you know, and they're like I got like a hate affair with most of the Muslims in London. Yeah. So anyway, I want to talk about, you know, I wanted to talk about that picture. You know, it's making its circuit. It's been out for a long time. I actually posted it on my Facebook like freaking almost 8 or 9 years ago. That thing's been out forever. But back then I wasn't even thinking about this, you know. I was just like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I posted it on Facebook. And now it's making its rounds again. You know, it's popped up again. And now when I'm looking at it from this perspective of a guy who's consistently practicing polygyny, it's just ridiculous, man. You know, it's stupid. You know, I've been in polygyny multiple times with multiple women, and I fired more women for just goofy stuff as opposed to them actually cheating. I only had to fire Becky because she was definitely on the road to like trying to monkey branch on me. So I was just like, you know, and I can't blame her. She lived in London. I'm living in Germany. You know, it's just a matter of time before, you know, I was going to pick up another woman. And she, you know, out of necessity, needs to pick up another guy closer to her in London. So, I mean, this was an expected thing anyway. You know, it's not, everyone has their needs, you know, sometimes things just like this happen and you can't blame the woman and just, oh, women are evil. They're so horrible. You know, it's not always like that, you know. There's realities out there that you need to calculate in also. Although I think she was evil. So anyway, who's got some questions? Been on here for 40 minutes just ranting about toilet paper stock and trans people and cartoon pictures. Man, I had a good lineup. I had a good set of questions for Tristan Tate too, man. We'd actually talked about what we were going to talk about. I was really looking forward to this one. He wants to reschedule. Hopefully we'll get him on. We'll see what happens. You know, that guy, him and his brother stay mad busy. They don't take a break, man. That's probably why they're multimillionaires. You know, they don't take a day off. So I got more understanding, you know, for them than anything else. Zuby had some technical problems last Sunday. He was telling me that, you know, he had internet issues, so he wasn't going to be able to stream, you know, consistently. Good connection. I don't know what the word is I'm looking here for. So yeah, but we're going to reschedule also. So Zuby will be on, inshallah. Tristan will be on, inshallah. And yeah, if you got questions for these guys, I'm not opposed to taking questions for these guys. Just go ahead and drop me like an inbox or something. Say, hey, I'd like to know about this. I'd like to know about like that. And, you know, I'll get it to them. Hakim says, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to the show. We've just been talking about the craziness of the world and how it's going nuts. And what you missed was basically buy stock in toilet paper, my friend. Toilet paper stock. That is the Abuamerican lesson of today, other than, you know, the picture. Buy stock in toilet paper companies or start one. If you start a toilet paper company, let me know. I got some money I want to throw your way and I want to be a partner. We're going to get this paper. Then I'm going to go around and I'm going to find sick coronavirus people. I'm going to make them sneeze around in public, you know, and spread it around a little bit. And then we're going to like just kill the toilet paper market when everybody rushes to the store and buys up all our inventory. I'm telling you, it's a plan. I think it's illegal. So you didn't hear that here, but it's a plan. I guess while I'm here, we'll round this out at an hour. If nobody's gonna come with any interesting questions, I want to say also, I'm getting kind of disappointed with Twitter, guys. I don't know. I might back off Twitter and come back to YouTube. YouTube is like something I enjoy. I think you guys see right now, I feel really natural here. I enjoy myself. I'm kicking and I'm smiling for once. Man, Twitter is starting to make me mad. I'm not going to lie. I'm getting sick and tired of Twitter, man. I'm getting tired of all like the fake pickup artists, the fake gangsters, the fake millionaires, the fake freaking business guys. It's just, man, it's full of frauds, man. It's full of them. I'm getting sick of it. You know, it's getting easier and easier to spot like every single day. And it's like, and these guys got like such huge followings and crowds, and then they're just out like just saying the dumbest stuff. And then even guys who aren't frauds are out there just saying the dumbest stuff. You know, maybe I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I'm in that environment, so it's an inevitability that I'm going to end up saying something stupid too. I think if you spend your time around a bunch of dumb people, you're going to end up dumb. It's not like, you know, if you got a bunch of like healthy camels, you don't take the sick one and put it with the healthy ones in order to make the sick one healthy. It doesn't work like that. All the healthy ones get sick. So eventually I'm going to get stupid like those idiots too. So I'm thinking about like just taking a hiatus from Twitter, because Twitter's really starting to piss me off. I mean, it makes me cross, and it's like very little makes me mad. And I'm just like scrolling down Twitter. I'm just like, look at this dickhead. You know, and I'm like, why am I mad? It's just I'm tired of seeing like the goofy on Twitter. It's making me crazy. So I might take a break from Twitter. I might leave the platform altogether and just come back to YouTube. This is where I started. I might stick with it. It's something I enjoy and I'm having fun with it. I don't know. We'll have to see. Or I have to find a new way to clean up my feed and get rid of a bunch of dudes, you know, and just, you know, I got to change something because it's driving me nuts, man. Alex says, totally unrelated to anything discussed so far. What do you eat, Abu? Low carb or something? You're in very good shape, and while I train and have good cardio, I look sloppy. I eat predominantly meat. I won't lie today. I'm going to show you guys. But only because I'm sick. Don't think Abuamerican is just out here slobbing out like, But I ate like this whole box in the past 2 days. Cocoa brownie. These things are by milk. Man, yo, these things are good, son. And I had the last two with like some tea. And I see over here on the live chat, my wife, she's putting up my diet here. But like I was sick and I can't eat well. And so I started losing weight. I don't know if you guys can see it. Like this shirt usually is like, oops, I'm going the wrong way. This shirt is usually like really tight on me. I lost a bunch of weight and it was just hard to maintain the diet because I was really like deep hard sick. And so I just said, you know what, let me just give me something that'll give me some energy. And so I ate some junk food, but generally I eat like high protein diet with a few carbs. My carbs usually come from mangoes. I usually eat like steak and eggs, 2 steaks or 1 egg steak. It depends on how hungry I am. And then I'll eat a mango. And my wife says it right here. Boom, here she goes. She says he eats, this is my wife. He eats steak, chicken, and eggs, almost never carbs. Yeah, I'm big, alhamdulillah. If you want to count mango as carbs, which I generally do, then that's my carbs, you know. But generally it's unsweetened tea. I have a bottle around here somewhere. Nope, I don't have a bottle around here. My wife makes these big like 1 liter bottles of unsweetened tea. You just put like fruit tea in there, and it has a nice flavor to it, but it has like a nice natural sweetness to it. But there's no sugar added, and that's what I'll drink mostly, you know, or just tea with milk, you know. But I don't eat like a lot of carbs or anything. And I haven't been to the gym in weeks. I'm going to have to go back and like start over from zero, really. But that's generally what I eat. And it works well for me, alhamdulillah. Film TV says, okay, Abuamerican, I have a question. I realize women back home are more open to polygamy than here in the UK. Do you feel it's a good idea to marry someone back home? When you say back home, I mean, well, I don't need to know a country, but I mean, how often are you talking about going back there? I don't think distance marriages really work, man. I don't think it's a good idea, you know. And I'm saying maximum distance. Like I got a girl I'm looking at, and she's like in another city. That city's like 2 hours away. That's the tops I'm talking about, man. I mean, that's too far, but that's doable. But if you're talking about like you gotta get on like a 4-hour, 5-hour flight to go see your girl, dude. It's not tenable. It's not tenable. I have the situation right now with one of my wives, my other wife. She's in UAE. And it's you know, everything's good, but it's not something, you know, we have plans to like end the significant distance. She'll be in the UK eventually, but you know, I mean, I'm back to the Becky problem, Becky situation. Although this girl, alhamdulillah, she has a better training, she has a better like culture and a better way of life. She was raised differently than Becky, and it shows in her behavior and her mannerisms in terms of relationships. So I wouldn't advise it, man, unless you're gonna move back home, or you're going to move her from your home to the West, which is something that's highly unadvisable, or you're going to move to a third party country to where it's like, you're going to be Islamically in control of the household. I wouldn't advise like distance marriages. It's not something that it rarely ends well, man. It just doesn't. I mean, there are cases where it does work, and you see some families that make it work. Like, my ex-wife is going through it. My ex-wife downstairs, she's got a husband in Pakistan. She's trying to bring him over here. It's just she's flying to Pakistan back and forth randomly, and this, that, the other. But this time they were worried about like sickness and illnesses and coronavirus and all that stuff. There's always going to be some sort of problem and some sort of hurdles involved that you don't want to deal with. So it's my humble opinion, if you're going to marry someone from back home, to make sure you're close to home. Yeah, basically carnivore diet. That's right. Why you put me out there like that? So yeah. Wait. No, dang, all these comments popping up. Yeah, don't forget jelly beans. Yeah, sometimes I have jelly beans. I got like some jelly beans, but I told you because I'm sick, man. These aren't jelly beans. This is like, I don't know. It's like a whole pack of like gummy things. I like started it and I can't finish it. It's just too much sugar for me. This is like, you eat it and you just feel like all funky headed, and then my skin breaks out because when I've been having like skin problems now, little bumps. I got dandruff and whatnot. I think it's all connected to sugar because the only thing that's changed in my diet. Now my skin's gone bad, so I wouldn't mess with a bunch of sugar. Don't I'm cutting back after this sickness is over. I think it's selling in Kashmir in 2 years. Inshallah. I'll make it easy for you. I mean, man, watch out for them Indians, man. They crazy out there. Yeah, Alex, go low carb, man. Low carb. It's difficult. Anybody who says they're low carb, unless he's like running like, like an entire fitness thing and he's like a pro or whatever else, there's almost nobody who's like zero carb. I don't believe it. I've never seen anybody doing it, where it's zero carb. And if they are, they're like super duper duper ripped. So I wouldn't believe that, It's difficult. It's almost impossible. Maybe I'm just not disciplined. But when I'm looking at like workout guys and fitness guys and I'm seeing their actual diet and I'm seeing how they're eating, I'm like, hey, that's a carb. You know that's a carb? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I thought you said you didn't eat no carbs. Yeah. Which Muslim country would you advise moving to? Me personally, I'm looking at like Malaysia. But the problem is, it's like I'm Salafi and Malaysians. They're apparently like pretty hardcore Sufis, and they don't like Salafis there. But I mean, I like my technology. I like my status of living where it's like first world level. And so I was looking at Turkey, but Turkey's got a problem with polygyny apparently. Where it's like legal or something. It isn't in Malaysia. And I need to figure something out, man. I mean, because Germany's not it. If you're a Muslim, Germany's not it, man. They got too many problems here. They got too many like issues in terms of like religion and society and the direction it's going. You don't want to be raising your kids out here, man. Not unless you want to lose them to the dunya. I mean, if you do, then fine, But if you don't, then you gotta look at like you gotta look at alternatives. A lot of brothers are moving to Morocco, but Morocco is like similar in the sense to Turkey, where it's like polygyny is like so restricted and whatnot, and that's not the determining factor for me in moving to a country. Do they allow polygyny or not? It's not like that. But the point is, I do have multiple wives, and I do have to look out for their, I'm the emir. I'm in charge of their well-being. So I have to look out for what's going to work for my family as a whole. If you're a monogamous man, places like Morocco, man, wide open, Turkey, wide open. You know what I mean? You have options to where it's like, it's very easy for you. But if you have multiple wives, you need to look at how you're going to, take multiple wives with you. And you got to look at countries that are more relaxed in regards to having, multiple families. I know very little about Brunei, and I don't know. I have to look it up. I don't know anything about Brunei. The thing with Malaysia is Malaysia has the My Second Home passport, thing where it's like if you're a retiree or you're going to do business, they'll give you an actual passport where you can be a dual citizen of the Malaysian state. They're still looking for investment and investors and people who come in and invest into the country. It's worth it's worth looking into. Some brothers say Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has become more lax with their visa systems. I know a few brothers who are actually living there with visas. Nabil, what's his name? Muta'ah, Napoleon. He's living out there in the Eastern Province, I believe it is. I think it's the Dammam or something, or maybe he's in Riyadh. I can't remember. He's got himself like a couple coffee lines out there and whatnot. He's got his entire like coffee shops and his grill bar now. So, I mean, there's options. But what's the best depends on what you're looking for. It's going to be a unique situation for everyone. I personally prefer Malaysia because Malaysia is like, come over and open businesses, come over and do business. When you go to places like the Middle East, it's almost impossible to do business. When you go to other countries, it's so difficult to actually open a business as a foreigner. They make it so difficult for you that it's not really viable. And so when you have a country saying, come here, open a business, and we'll give you a passport for opening a business, it's very welcoming. It makes them stand out from the rest. And you don't want to go to another country like that, especially a guy like me. I'm 47 years old, and you want to start working for somebody, at some office or some shop or something. I mean, it's not what you want to do. You don't want to go there working for somebody. You want to go there and you want to create jobs. You want to create value. And it's literally being said to you in that way through their invitation. Come open a business, AKA come create jobs, come create value, and we will welcome you with the passport. So, look for places like that. I don't think there's any one specific place. I think it's more like just general look for somebody or a country. When I say somebody, I'm speaking from a country sense. Look for a place that's going to offer you that, Film TV says, damn, bro, Turkey is great shout. I went there and got a lot of attention from the women. So let's see, inshallah. Only thing is my dad is very tribal. So might like someone outside our tribe. Yeah, I mean, generally I find Turks to be, generally nice people. I've had my share of problems with some Turks, but every time I've seen them, they've been like the irreligious ones, the guys who don't practice, and they've always been the problematic ones. Turkey has some beautiful women, man. But then every country in the world, generally, at some point, their women are beautiful. I don't know how old Turkish women look, but the young ones, they generally do. Yeah, they look good. It's generally like, I forgot what country it was. I think it was like Panama. Like the women look good up to a certain age, and once they get old, they start looking like trolls and like old rotten mangoes. What about Somalia? I don't know, man. I personally wouldn't mess with it. It's seen too much instability for too long. And although things are looking good right now, I mean, I've seen like some photos, I've seen some information, I've seen some like data on it, and it's looking nice and stable right now. You never know what's going to happen, because I mean, they've just consistently gone to like stable, unstable, stable, unstable, stable, unstable. And so there's no guarantee that like in another 5 years, they're not going to go back, like, right back down into some chaos. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they always get a lot of interference from their neighbors, from international players. And then it brings back a significant degree of instability to the country that makes it unpredictable for a prolonged period of time. To top it off, the only thing that Somalia is really known for producing is nurses. So you also have to look at that. What is your child going to do in the future? When you look at like other countries, Indonesia, when you look at Malaysia, when you look at all these countries, when you look at something like Brunei, Turkey, these countries, they produce doctors, they produce lawyers, they produce engineers, they produce this, they produce that, and in the West usually sucks them up. So it could be the case that, you have kids, they become an engineer, and then they get sucked up into a Western country and they return back to the West. But you have to also look at that. If you're going to be a man who has a family and has kids, what is their future going to be? What future does Somalia have to offer your child in terms of education? Whatever they learn in Somalia, they're going to have to go somewhere else to master in terms of higher education, whatever it is they want to do. Because how many higher universities are in Somalia that are actually functioning and turning out like known and reputable engineers, doctors, lawyers, scientists, or whatnot? Generally, you find that most Somalis study outside of the country. So you have to look at that for your children also. That's my humble opinion. It's not crapping on Somalia, not at all. It's just a realistic assessment as a father. What are they going to become? Rashid, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Otto says, aside from the difficulties in opening businesses, are there any other major bad things about places like UAE, Qatar, Oman? Qatar right now, I mean, I spent 7 years in Qatar, 6.5 years in Qatar. Qatar's a beautiful place, but because of the situation between Qatar and its neighbors right now, I would not advise going to Qatar. That's my humble opinion. I still got a lot of brothers and a lot of friends in Qatar, locals and foreigners, but I wouldn't advise going right now. They are like the pariah of the Gulf. Everybody's mad at those guys. Nobody's changed their stance, and yeah, it's not a good time to be in Qatar. Now, when we look at the Gulf in general, visas and getting a visa, opening a business, buying property and whatnot, this is all problematic except for in the UAE. UAE is probably the most flexible place there is. They've been dealing with foreigners the longest, and they've come up with the most, what's the word I'm looking for, viable system of having foreigners live in their country at a prolonged period of time than any of the other Gulf states. So UAE is the most viable, in my humble opinion, because they've just been at it the longest. They're the most invested in it, and it's proving to work the best out of all the countries there. Qatar, I just wouldn't mess with it, man. You generally need a sponsor. There's only a few ways to go there without having like a local sponsor. And if you don't get a sponsor that respects you and is going to give you just give you excuse me, give you an open kafala. Kafala is like sponsorship, like an open sponsorship. Then every time you want to leave the country, you have to go to this guy and you have to get permission to leave the country. You are literally in an open prison. I worked for Wazir Dafa, the Ministry of Defense, when I was there. And I had to go and get permission from the Ministry of Defense to leave the country. That means if I decided frick it, I want to leave today, I'm sick of this, I couldn't go to the airport and leave. I go to the airport and they're like, you can't leave the country. Imagine that. Where in the West is that going to happen? I can go to the airport in Frankfurt, Germany with 50 million euros in loans at every bank that I could get a loan from in Germany and fly out of the country into Never Land. I could do that today. I could do that in the UK. I could do that in Sweden, France, wherever else. In Qatar, you could be debt-free, owe nobody nothing, and you can't go to the airport and leave the country without permission of a sponsor. Who wants to live like that? So don't mess with it until they change their laws and they get something together to fix that. It's a beautiful place to visit. It's a nice place to visit. Don't live there. Don't live there unless you have a long-term plan to work. excuse me, to work at a company that pays you very well. My company paid me very well, and so I had a long-term plan, and I didn't leave the country often. But but if you need to get out of the country, or if you want to travel a lot, whatever else, it's not the place to be, man. And if you want to live there long-term, especially as a foreigner, you don't want to be in a position where it's you need some other dude's permission to buy a car. You have to get permission to buy a car. You need permission to get married. You need permission to get a driver's license. You need permission to open a bank account. Dude, I had to go and get a letter for each and everything. There was no universal letter. You had to go back and get this guy to stamp and sign every single letter. And then they treat you like you're doing you a favor. It's dude, I want to open a bank account. You want to open a bank account? You come back tomorrow. It's niggas, I can't get paid because y'all don't give me cash and you won't give me a check. And if you give me a check, I need a bank account to cash the check. I'd like to open a bank account, please. Yes. They treat you like you're a beggar. I'm telling you this from 7 years experience. You don't want to live in a place like that. You don't want to live in an environment like that. If you're going to live in the Khalij, if you're going to live in the Gulf, make sure you do your homework very, very, very deep about these places and how they treat foreigners, especially with your residency. Don't end up in a position like that because it's going to make you angry. It's going to make you angry. And I'll tell you something. There's a lot of people down there that are angry. There's a lot of people there that are bitter and upset with the life that they have, not because it's not good. They make good money, but what's all that money worth if you're not free? Like I said, you're in an open prison. So, enough of that rant. I live in a smaller city in the UK, and I gotta say, I don't agree that every country has good-looking women, at least not the same ratio. Deep bush of any country, the women are kind of dodgy. I'm not even deep bush here where I am. I walk around my neighborhood, and it's I wouldn't throw a rock at the women here. It'd be I don't want their attention at all. Throwing rocks at them would cause their attention to turn to me, so I wouldn't throw rocks at them. But if I go into the city, if I go to Saarbrücken or something, or Saar Lewis, or going to Neunkirchen too. So it depends on where you are. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these country bumpkin chicks. Yeah. Film says, my father doesn't want anyone outside our tribe ethnicity. How do I get around this? Man, I still kind of depend on him. You said it right there. You got to stop depending on him. Film TV, this is important for you, man. You got to stop depending on your father. You got to set out on your own. But at the same time, you have, I mean, I take it you're Muslim. I believe that you said you're Muslim. And so you have the Islamic obligation to obey your father in that which is permissible. It is not permissible for him to disallow you from marrying a righteous woman from amongst the Muslims. And you have to teach him that. So your 2 steps for you, the next thing you need to do is you need to make yourself independent somehow. I don't care if you're in university or not, bro. I mean, this is an American thing. We usually go to university and we work also. We don't have like family support. I think you know this. I mean, I think you're out from the West, man. Get yourself a job, you know, even if it's a few hours a week, and get yourself in the habit of just working hard and then finding ways to make money on the side. Get yourself out from underneath your father financially in terms of dependence. Next, you need to sharpen up your Islamic knowledge and you need to bring it to him. Because if he's a Muslim, and I believe you're Muslim, I'm going with the understanding that you guys are Muslims. You need to teach him Islam and tell him like, hey, look, you know, I understand that what your preference is, but maybe my preference is the guy who needs to get married fall outside of what you prefer for me. And so here's the Islamic proof that you cannot forbid me from marrying a person of righteousness from amongst the Muslims. And then you bing, 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 and you just beat him over head with the book and the sunnah until he gets it. Inshallah. And of course, you love and respect your father, but your father is his own man. And sometimes he needs to learn how to love and respect you in a way that, you know, nobody gets angry or upset, you know, and that's possible. You know, you got to treat him with love and respect. And I'm talking big here because I mean, I got a bad relationship with my dad, man. My dad, I literally like recently blocked my dad on Facebook. I had to block my dad on Facebook. That's how bad the relationship with my dad is. And I tried for years to be nice to this guy. You know, he's just so hard-headed that I was like, you know what? If I don't block this guy, I'm going to say something so rude that I can't take back. I can take back the block, but I can't take back like angry words. So I had to block him, man. So inshallah, your dad being Muslim, you don't have to go through all of this because there's a baseline of behavior that everybody needs to follow. But when you're dealing with like non-Muslim family, then the bets are off, you know? So yeah, obviously. Yeah. Try not to depend on anybody. Alex said it right here. Film TV. Try not to depend on anybody except Allah. You know, tawakkal Allah. You know. Hakim says, I'm 22 years old. Inshallah, after working on myself and increasing my quality as a man, I will look to get married. During these marriage meetings, how should I respond? Go about talking about polygyny. There's no obligation to talk about it, first and foremost. Look, understand firstly that if you do the research, you'll find that there's no obligation to tell the woman you're going to marry that you have a wife, and there's no obligation to tell your current wife that you're going to get married again. It's from good manners. Adab al-Ahsan. It's from ishratat al-nasa. It's from good living with the women to do this, but it's not an obligation. It's not an obligation. So that's the first thing. So there's no obligation for you to come into the meeting and start talking about it unless you have a wife or unless they specifically ask you in a way that you're not going to, you know, you don't want to seem like you're being a dodgy guy, ducking questions, or you think you're going to lie. And then you can say, hey, look, you know what? I don't see myself as a monogamous man. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm immediately going to go get married tomorrow, whatever else. I'm not saying that it is going to happen. I'm not just saying I'm not ever going to rule it out, you know. And it's something from the religion of Islam. So it's not something that the people should have resistance to. They have their preferences once again, but it's not something that a Muslim should have a resistance to. And that's from the males or the females. So, you know, if you're managing, if you are the wakil, if you're the guardian of a woman and, you know, a guy comes to you and he's like, well, you know, I got a wife and I want to marry your daughter or your sister or whatever else, you know, you're going to have to accept that maybe from your perspective or from her perspective, it's less than ideal, but he might be a good guy. You never know. You got to look at the guy individually. But from the book and the sunnah, from the sense of the religion, there's no argument, you know. It's not a discussion that anybody should be having or having resistance to. That's why you need to look at the individual case by case. And so you have to make them understand that, say, hey, you know what? If they ask you about polygyny, I actually wouldn't discuss it. I wouldn't even worry about it. You know, I mean, it's not something you need to bring up. But if it does come up, just say, hey, you know what? This is something that's accepted from religion. You have to speak in absolutes at times, you know, and this is where a time you have to be unabashed and direct. Say, look, the book and the sunnah allows for polygyny. It's unrestricted. There doesn't have to be any specific reason. It doesn't have to be because she can't have sex. It doesn't have to be because she can't have kids or whatever else, or she lost her womb, or because she got kicked in the gut by a donkey at 4. It's something that our religion allows. So I'm not going to say that there's any aspects of the religion that I'm going to deny, be it from the small ones, the major ones, the obligatory, or that which is not obligatory. Whether you have to do it or whether you don't have to do it, but it's allowable, I'm not going to deny any aspect of religion. And I'm not going to write in a contract that a person can't do something that comes from the religion. Therefore, if you want to take that as the position that I am going to be a polygynous man, then I ask you to look at me as an individual and say, if this guy does take another wife, how is he going to be as a husband to my daughter, to my sister, to my aunt, or whoever he's being loyal to? Put the onus on them. Make them do the work, because the work is theirs. Because it's been decided in the book and the Sunnah, it's been decided in Islam that this is something that's permissible. So now you need to come with a reason as to why you say I can't do it. If I can show you that I can be just, if I can be fair, if I can spend the proper money and the time, why would you say that I can't marry your girl and Allah says that I could? Make that make sense to me, homie. Now you put them in a position to qualify themselves. Don't let anybody put you in a position of qualifying yourself over polygyny. They're at war with Islam and the rulings that Allah and Messenger have allowed, and even as Muslims. So this is not a battle that you need to fight. They need to fight their battle. They need to defend their position. You don't need to defend yours. So that doesn't really answer your question, but it gives you a position to take with those people. You should not be on the defensive. They should be. Because if you want to have multiple wives, you are not in opposition to Islam. Are you in opposition to modern culture? Yes. Are you in opposition to Western culture? Yes. Are you in opposition to Islam as a Muslim? No. What are we? First and foremost, I'm an American, but I put proud Muslim, then proud American on my profile. I'm Muslim first. Because if anything goes down, who are my people? Who's going to back me more than anybody else? The Muslims. So they're Muslim first. The Western culture isn't their culture. Western culture, a lot of Westerners just don't like them, including governments. You know, they need to come to conclusion with that. So they're Muslim first. The world views them as Muslims first. So they need to behave in a manner from the position as Muslims first. And so you put them on the defensive. Don't go on the defensive, bro. If they ask you about it, put the onus back on them. Find out what their position is, if they're okay with it or not. And if they're not, then that's going to be a problem for them. And that's a problem that they need to defend. And I hope that helps you out there, bro. Street Jesus. I don't know if you were just talking about, excuse me. I don't know if you were just talking about it, but which, sorry, guys. But which countries are the best non-socialist, non-liberal countries with good tax laws, business laws, and family laws? Yeah, it's a tough one, bro. I mean, the Khalij, the Gulf, but it's also one of the more difficult. But it's also one of the more difficult places to live. The Khalij means the Gulf, the Middle East. They have almost zero tax. Qatar has zero tax. I think UAE came up with like 4% tax or something like that now. You'd have to ask somebody who lives there, but I think they slightly changed their tax laws. None of the Middle East has tax. So, I mean, and they're non-socialists for anybody except their own. I mean, they're socialists to their own people, but in terms of like the society in general, no, there's no socialism. You go there as a foreigner and you fail, you got to do the work, man, or you're on the street. They're definitely not liberal countries. They'll be open to Western ideology, Western concepts, but you go out there and you start acting like a degenerate, bro, and you're going to end up in a hole. You know, you can't go dancing around in front of little kids in boy shorts, you know, as a man dressed up as a woman. Dude, you're going to disappear. They'll put you in a hole and you'll disappear, and they'll be completely unashamed about it. They'll be like, yes, this man, he's dancing in front of the children. Yes, we lock him. He's crazy. You know, he's Majnun. They will just lock you up and they won't be abashed about it in the least. They will not be shy about putting you in a jail or putting you under a jail. And then if there's government pressure to let you go as a degenerate, then they're going to put you out and they're going to permanently ban you from the country. So these are places that are totally anti-liberal in terms of degeneracy. Are there problems there? Of course, there's no perfect societies, but you're not going to find a ton of public degeneracy and like all this madness that you see going on right now. It's not going to happen. So the Middle East is great. You know, it's not perfect, but it's definitely awesome. Family law is also on your side as a man. I had multiple experiences there when I first attempted polygyny, and I had a lot of problems. And the law was always on my side no matter what happened. They didn't care how bad I acted. They're like, that's your husband. You need to listen to him. You know, they were totally unaccustomed to like I'll give you an example. I had a Kenyan wife, and she was like, she lost her mind. I don't know what happened to that girl, but she went crazy. She called the cops on me, and the cops were like, look, he's like, he sat down and said, look, the police line isn't for this. You don't call the police on your husband. He's like, I don't know where you come from. It's like, but this is not something that we do down here. He says, when you call the police on your husband, you look crazy. He's like, this is not something that we socially accept, that a woman will call the police on her husband, even if he's killing her. He's like, or he says, that's about the only reason you can call him. He's like, you don't call the police on your husband. He's like, this is not something we accept. We don't have a system in place for dealing with this, because we don't deal with this because this is a family thing. We deal with matters of law. You have a matter of family. They literally separate the two. They don't want to hear police calls about domestic disputes. My husband smacked me in the head. They're not going to want to hear it unless you're dealing with a local. If you're dealing with a local, then fine, it's different. But, you know, as foreigners, they're not trying to hear that stuff. And so they're just like, look, this guy takes care of you. And the cop was literally like this. He's like, you have a nice phone. He's like, yes. My wife said, yes. Said, who bought that for you? He said, he did. Well, you used the phone that he bought you to call us on him? The cop was killing her. He's like, what's wrong with you? He said, this is a nice phone. This is like, it was an iPhone 4 at the time. That was like the top phone at the time. What's wrong with you? It's like, where do you live? You should live with him. Whose house is it? Do you pay the rent to him? Yeah, he does. It's like, he's like, Kaif, like, how? Like, how? What are you doing? He's just looking at like, and he just went down the list of all the things that are happening in her life in terms of like goodness. And he was like, how are you calling us on this guy? You have some problems, you get upset, and now you want to like call the cops on him? It's like, because you had some problems? See, you crazy? So family law in the entire Gulf is on the side of men, you know, because men down there take care of everything in the family. So, you know, I'd look at it like that. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I mean, sorry, wa iyak Hakim. I'm glad I could help you. So, Street Jesus, I would say the Middle East, man. But I mean, your name is Street Jesus. I don't know if you're Muslim or not. So, I mean, the Middle East isn't bad. It's just difficult to get visas there. And I was talking about that earlier. Maybe you missed that part. Oh, snap. Hakim, thank you for the super chat. Jazakallah khair. I will go pray Asr right now. If you aren't still streaming when I complete it, then have a nice day. Yeah, I'll be on for another like maybe 15 minutes. It looks like we got a lot of questions coming in right now, so I'll try and roll with it. So Barakallahu Feek for the donation, my brother. Strive says, I wouldn't advise marrying into a family that hates you. This is a good point. Plenty of sisters for you if you're that guy. Strive, yes and no. And this is a problem, the problem is, it's like, why would they hate you? I mean, there's no Islamic excuse, speaking from an Islamic perspective, as to why they should hate a person. Love and hate in Islam is what? Based upon Allah, the religion of Islam. So we love and hate for the sake of Allah. So if a person is practicing Islam properly, if a person is upon Islam properly, you should love them according to how much they practice Islam, correct? This is part of loving and hating for the sake of Allah. If the person is off the practice of Islam, then you hate them accordingly. And it's not this like angry hate, but it's like the general term where it's like you have this dislike for them. So if the person's practicing a religion properly, what's your excuse? This is why the Sahaba were successful. This is why the companions were successful. They combined like Africans, Arabs, this one, that one, people from different tribes. It was unheard of that the tribes would unite, or individuals from tribes would unite and make a new tribe, aka the Ummah of Islam. And that's why they were successful, because they united upon Islam and they fought war based upon Islam. So we're looking at problems as Muslims right now, and why? And when we look, we're right back to tribalism. And it really needs to end. That's my humble opinion. So this comes back to, this is a problem of the people, that they need to justify their hate or dislike of someone who's Muslim and practicing Islam. The onus goes back on them again. Why are you in opposition to Islam, but you say you're Muslim? You sound like you're a person who's Muslim, but who doesn't want Islam. Explain yourself, because I don't get it. And I mean, this is an easy conversation to have with people you love. Well, it's not an easy conversation to have with people you love, but sometimes maybe you need to, because maybe you're at a further place in Islam and belief than they are. and you need to rectify that. I mean, there's a point where you got to take the lead. No tax. Wow. Can a foreigner start an LLC or something there? Yeah, actually a ton. Yeah, you can. I know quite a few people. There's quite a few German companies that are actually based in the UAE, and then they do business. They're actually here in Germany, but they base their business in the UAE, so they don't have to pay taxes. I plan on doing the same thing because taxes here in Germany are ridiculous. If you have a successful business, you're looking at like an aggregate tax as a business owner of something like 45%, dude. Imagine making 100,000 and you only get 65 because 45,000 is going to taxes. You can't live like that. You can't live like that. And then you got to pay employees and all that stuff, man. How much are you going to actually make in profit as a business owner? So, yeah, you can do that, actually. There's a lot of foreigners there. They're not even Muslim, and they open businesses in UAE. Street Jesus says, Abu, wait, I thought we had to get permission from our wives in order to marry another wife. No, you don't, Street Jesus. I don't know where you got that. Man, I guess I was brainwashed because of monogamy. Let me put this up here. I was become monogamous when I used to go to the madrasa. No, actually, there's no obligation for you to tell your first wife that you are married. There's no obligation for you to tell your first wife that you're going to get married. You can just go out and get married. You don't have to tell her. You don't have to get her permission. You literally don't have to tell her. I'll get the proof and I'll post it in the Telegram group. If you're not in my Telegram group, I'll put it there so you can see it. But it might take me some time to find it. But you don't have to tell her that you are getting married. And you don't have to tell the woman that you're going to marry. So let's say you're courting a woman and to get married. There's no obligation to tell her that you're already married. You don't have to. So this is a misconception a lot of people have. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So what did he say? So I may have been harsh to one of the ladies I was talking to. However, I told her it was my mistake, and alhamdulillah, I'm talking to her parents. Okay. I'm not sure. You've been harsh to her. Okay. I mean, it happens, man. I mean, we're people. But you're talking to her parents, so apparently it didn't matter, So she must have liked it because you're talking to her parents. She's like, oh my gosh, he's so dominant. He can run the show. Because if it wasn't like that, would you be talking to her parents? No. So apparently it wasn't harsh to her. Apparently she was attractive. So, yeah. Guys, I'm going to call it a night. I've been on here for an hour and 22 minutes. Buy stock in toilet paper. We're open a toilet paper company. If you do, you got to let me know so I can buy stock in your toilet paper company. What do we got here? Strive Allah says, marry 2, 3, or 4. Starting fundamental of a man is that he should have more than one wife. Yes, in Surah An-Nisa. Sorry, there's a comment that's like not popping up on my admin panel. I put it up on the admin panel. And it's from Strive, and he said, and Allah says in Surah An-Nisa, marry 2, 3, or 4. And so the ulama, here it is, finally. So the ulama means like the scholars of Islam. They have said that this is proof that the asl, the origin of marriage in Islam, is starting with 2, because Allah said marry 2 or 3 or 4. He didn't say marry 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. He started with 2. So yeah, very good point, Strive. Jazakallah khair, man. Barakallah feek. Ada says, Jazakallah khair, Abuamerican dropping all this knowledge for free. Why you act, man? No problem, man. I started off doing this for free. The only reason why I started charging one-to-ones is because it was getting ridiculous and I couldn't keep up and I didn't have a life. And now that people know I charge for my one-to-one time, they leave me alone. And I got my life back. Alhamdulillah. But it's people who are actually suffering problems. Although I can't do you for free, if they're serious and they're having serious problems, you can hit me up on the website, Abuamerican.com. You can get the one-to-ones. You can book sessions. We're working on a different pricing scheme, and it'll come out soon, hopefully, inshallah. I just dealing with a house full of sick people. I can't do anything else but take care of this kid. Like I said, I was at the hospital with my son today. He's just been sick all day. He's completely miserable, and my wife can't do it alone. So. Because we got a newborn also, and so it's just been really rough. So I've always got something going on, guys. If you're gonna establish your empire, do it before you have a family. It's not easy to do all this stuff when you have a family. Okay, so yeah. Indonesia tax law is easy. This is why I gotta stop. Indonesia tax law is easy to escape. They tax you when you reach a certain amount of income, which you can manipulate. Yeah, doing your books, cooking the books, as they say. Okay, mashallah, she's a female scholar, so nice, very good. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. If you need to get a one-to-one session or whatever else, you need to fix like a relationship, whatever else, I generally have a 100% hit rate. I can help you fix your damage. Yeah, you can hit me up on Abuamerican.com. I believe live chat is still working. The website has been revamped, and go and check it out. The articles aren't there or anything else, but I should be back on YouTube more frequently. All right, guys, I'm out. Y'all take it easy, huh? Assalamu alaikum.